Good, happy Thursday morning, January 17, 2019. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, no criminal charges to be filed against fired Manchester police officer. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Jennifer Crompton.
No criminal charges will be filed against either of the two Manchester police officers fired last year for what the department described as breaches of trust.
Based on the totality of the evidence we were able to uncover, we do not believe that there was any crime that we could prove beyond a reasonable doubt.
Last February, Officer Darren Murphy was fired. As part of that internal investigation, the department says it learned of allegations of misconduct against another officer, Aaron Brown, who was put on leave and then fired in April. The Stratford County Attorney's Office was brought in to look at any potential criminal behavior, overseeing 2 teams of state and local police, generating thousands of pages of reports. 2 women came forward with allegations, some going back to 2009.
The list of charges that we were looking at included sexual assault allegations against both of the officers. It also included witness tampering against one officer. It included possible criminal mischief against the second officer, as well as official oppression, and even went so far as looking at the possibility of insurance fraud.
The county attorney says former officer Aaron Brown chose to participate in the investigation, while Murphy did not. One of the 2 alleged female victims also opting out, their names not made public.
We want to make sure that that victim survivor, if she chooses to come forward at some later time, has the right to do so.
The Manchester Police Department has issued a statement that says in part that it's confident that the Stratford County Attorney's Office has conducted a thorough, fair, and impartial investigation. We're live in Manchester. Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News Now.
Okay, and there we go on that video and that report. February SNAP benefits to be distributed early. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Siobhan Lopez.
Despite the partial government shutdown, thousands of Granite Staters who rely on food stamp or EBT programs will receive their benefits for February just 2 weeks early. Recipients are encouraged to not spend it all up front since they won't receive benefits next month.
They told folks to budget accordingly, and if not, to visit their local pantry. So we are anticipating a spike in need with our agencies probably around mid-February.
The concern is that if people don't budget properly, it could put a strain on local food pantries.
We're truly tasked with raising about $100,000 per week to help our food insecure.
The food bank receives no state or federal funding, but it does rely on several grants.
Luckily, the large federal grants that we are dependent upon, the Finney grant for our Granite State Market Match, that's secured for 3-4 years. The funds that we do depend on, like for summer feeding, that's been secured. There were changes made in the legislature, so those funds had long-term funding.
John Dumas, president of the New Hampshire Grocers Association, says stores will be tasked with trying to make sure they can handle an influx of shoppers after the February benefits are distributed on January 20th.
So that's the concern, is that can we get enough inventory in of the products they need, especially the WIC, which is a prescriptive type program, to have that in place for them.
His advice, don't make any changes to your usual weekly shopping habits.
That's the ideal situation going forward, but we're going to try and be prepared for whatever comes our way.
In Manchester, Siobhan Lopez, WMUR News 9.
Okay, there you go on that video and that report. Man imprisoned for killing wife seeks information on how restitution spent. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Andy Hirschberger.
He was convicted of a horrible crime. James Robarge beat his estranged wife Kelly to death in 2013 on the day she filed for divorce. He was sentenced to 30 years in prison and as part of that sentence, ordered to pay $25,000 in restitution to 4 people considered victims of his crime. Now Robarge is contesting that restitution, saying he wants a more detailed accounting of where that money is going.
Here we are 4 years after the sentencing hearing, and the defendant is bringing this all back up for the victims.
Robarge isn't challenging the amount. That money has already been paid to the victims through the Victims Compensation Program, and Robarge is expected to eventually pay that agency back. He is asking the court to show how that money was spent for things like funeral expenses and lost wages.
We're just seeking to be able to confirm that the expenses they claim to have exist and were paid on behalf of the individuals in the case. We've made it very clear that we're not seeking any private information.
But prosecutors say they are, and providing the documentation they want will violate the victim's privacy.
The information that verifies those claims is really personal information. It's information that touches upon medical expenses, mental health issues and expenses, and employment, financial records.
Prosecutors say if any documents are turned over to James Robarge, they will ask that a restraining order be placed against him for anyone named in that paperwork. In Newport, Andy Hirschberger, WMUR News 9.
Okay, there you go on that video and that report. Mother Unite to raise funds support for family of toddler who died after wandering out in cold. Let's go to WMUR Jean Mackin with that report.
These Newport mothers are united and strong, pulling together for one of their own.
Feeling heartbroken being a mom, and just, it's such a tragic situation.
They did not know the mother of 2.5-year-old Sophia before the devastating news that the toddler wandered outside her home and died in the cold early Monday morning, but felt compelled to help a fellow mother and her family. They started by launching a GoFundMe page.
It's just amazing that within less than 24 hours, we almost reached our full goal. We're going to keep it open until Saturday. We wanted her to not have to worry about funeral costs or, rent, just being able to take that time that she needed to grieve the loss of her child.
Our community is really tight-knit, and when tragedy strikes, everybody's there for each other.
And beyond the GoFundMe page, these mothers are also collecting gift cards and diapers for Sophia's twin brother, and they're having meals delivered to the family each and every day.
I needed to turn it around into something positive, so we've done meals and all that for her for like the next 12 days, delivered stuff. I think a lot of it breaks down to because we are all moms. That's the main reason.
This community is lighting candles, bringing teddy bears and messages of support.
I think they're
doing the best they can. I think there's still a lot of shock. Her family is amazing support for her.
And these mothers vow to do the same. In Newport, Jean Mackin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there we go on that video and that report. European markets fall after May serves no confident vote. Sage Sharps jump 8%. The Pan-European Stocks 600 was down around 0.6% during early morning deals, with most sectors in major bonuses in negative territory. European banking index led the losses shortly after the opening bell, down more than 1.4% aimed earnings news. Market focus is largely attitude to at least Bertek's developments after Prime Minister Theresa May narrowly won no confident vote late Wednesday. And the European stocks were lower Thursday morning amid heightened political uncertainty in the UK and ongoing concerns over China's cooling economy. Michael Cohen fears Trump rhetoric could put his family at risk, source says. Michael Cohen is having reservations about his highly anticipated public appearance before Congress next month, fearing that President Donald Trump frequent distabs against him could put his family in danger, according to sources close to Cohen. And that did it for the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. Goodbye, everyone.